Hi, welcome to your Key to Crave-Free Eating. And I'm Victoria Green, natural juice therapist and 3 principles trainer, and I help people change their diet. I help them with the mindset around that and the mindset around food and health to make it all simpler. I just want to apologise for being late. I had a slight technical hitch, and so I'm a bit nervous to start off with. It's not my usual way of holding these classes either. I've done a lot of interviews this way, but most of my classes are done on like teleconference, and I'm used to seeing boxes with who's there and interacting a little bit and getting questions. And I know some of you have sent questions beforehand, and if you want to send them afterwards, that's fine. I will reply to those. But I guess some people will be watching this later as well, so it's just a little bit nerve-wracking not knowing who you're talking to. And also not knowing whether you can hear me or not. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But having said that, though, I'm really excited about tonight. I've had lots of different cravings in the past, food-wise. I got stuck with bread, sweets, biscuits, any carbs and sugar, basically. But I've also I got really trapped by smoking for a long number of years, and also by alcohol for a little bit in certain situations. And it's horrible. It's horrible to be in a position where you really, really want something with all your being, but actually deep down somewhere you don't. And if you're not having it, like you're fighting that urge to have it all the time. It's like you've got dual personalities. You just can't win whatever you do. Part of you is miserable all the time, and it makes you feel helpless. It makes you feel like you've got no control at all. Like there's something that's just out of your control. Like I work with people who like have successful careers or businesses, and like in other aspects of their life, it's perfect. You know, it's running out how they want it, which makes it harder when it comes to food, because there's no explanation for it. It defies logic, and there's just no way to get around it. It's horrible. It can be pretty soul destroying. Yeah, it's like being in a maze and just getting caught in the same like trap of it all the time. You know, you take different routes and you think you're almost at the exit, but then all of a sudden you find yourself in that same trap you were in 2 minutes ago. And it's like that, and it's like there's no way out. And so I'm excited about tonight because I want to share a couple of realizations I've had about that around cravings and exactly like what's going on that just make the whole thing simpler. You know, once you understand it, once you understand how it works, it's like you've been lifted above the maze, and you've got like an aerial view. You can see exactly where you want to go, and you know exactly how to get there. Yeah, like this that hidden trap in the corner is a thing of the past. It's just, you don't have to pay any attention to it at all, and you can just go straight there. And so that's what this call's about. I want to share that in the best way that I can, so that hopefully you get an insight into the nature of what's going on, so that it can be that simple for you too. And because there's just no need to struggle at all. So that's what I want to do tonight. This call is for anyone that's ever had any cravings, and if you have, you know exactly that you have. If you sat there going, "No, well, I'm not sure if I've had any cravings," then you probably haven't. If you've eaten something and you wish that you didn't have to, or you've tried to give something up but you wish you could have it, yeah, or you go without a certain food, but once you start eating it, you just can't stop. You carry on and on and on. Then this calls for you. It's for you if you're fed up of that, if you're fed up of that physical struggle, and just the mental baggage that you carry around, because it's constant, it's always there. It feels like you're always either trying not to have it or feeling bad because you have. And so if you're fed up of, if you want to let go of all that, then this calls for you. And it's especially for you if you help other people, like if that's your career, your business, your job, because it's bad enough to have success in other areas and just be really frustrated because you don't know why it's not translating into your like food and weight and health. But if you're in a role where you're advising other people, you've got this extra voice, or I did, of like going on, who are you to help advise others when like this is such a mess? Because that's how it feels. It feels like it's a mess. And so yeah, if you're one of those people, then this calls for you. And on this call, all I'm going to do is share a couple of insights and I guess realizations that I've had about this, and hope that you will feel them too. And at the end of the call, I'm going to share something, an amazing adventure that I've set up. If that's your thing, I'll tell you more about that. And I'll also tell you how you can get in touch if you've got any more questions, or if you want to know more about what I've talked about, or if you would like to delve into it further. But before I start, I just want to talk a little bit about listening. And because I know what it's, I know what this trap's like, and it brings a sense of urgency and frustration and panic, kind of, and almost desperation, in that when you because nothing works. Nothing works. And and it's not from lack of trying, because if you're like me, you're trying everything. Like you're trying mixing, combining foods, um, diets to cut things out, adding fresh things in so you don't crave the bad things. Upping the exercise. It's all about exercise. It's all about what type of exercise you do. Anything that comes along, you want, like, there's almost a desperation to hear if that's going to be the thing that finally gets you out of this trap. And in that mode, it I was going to say it's like speed reading, but yeah, but I've done it. I've read book after book after book and watched like inspirational film after film, and constantly you're looking for. It's like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, that makes it like, oh yeah, I'm happy. I agree with that. I agree with that. And you're constantly looking for the new thing, the thing that's going to be different. But the thing is, when you do that, when you look through your thinking of what you already know, you kind of get reflected back what you already know. I don't know if that makes sense, but you only get the thinking that you've already got. And if that was going to work, then it would have worked already. And so you don't have to think at all on this call. In fact, this is your time to just sit back and relax. Listen to me if you want to, or just have me on in the background. And I did a talk probably a couple of months ago now, a few weeks back, when I did say if you want to fall asleep you can, and somebody did. But that is fine. Just relax. I used to, whenever I bought a new CD, I'd hate listening to it because like it would sound like songs that I'd already heard, but not. They'd be slightly different. It'd be weird. I couldn't get my head around it, and so I couldn't just go, oh yeah, that's good. So I had to just leave them playing in the background, like they do on the radio, play songs that like over and over. I didn't deliberately do that. I'd just leave them on in the car or something. And all of a sudden, like one day, I'd be singing a song as though I'd known it all my life. I didn't sit down and learn the words or anything. It's just there. Now it happens with all the Disney songs that my daughter sing. But my point is, you don't have to try. In fact, it's better if you don't. It's better if you just. It's quite late in the evening. You might want to. I don't know what you're going to be doing afterwards, but if for the next hour, 90 minutes, you just sit back and use that as your time to unwind. And if I say anything useful, anything that's new, anything that strikes a chord, then that'd be fantastic. So before I actually get into what I'm going to share, I just want to talk a little bit about thought, because I know some people listening in will be aware of the 3 principles and understand how thought works. and the principles behind that, and other people won't have a clue what I'm talking about. So don't want to take up too much time with this, so if I can just, I want to put it as simply as possible. And so, like, the way I see it is that we go through life thinking that what we feel is a result of what's happening around us, our circumstances. And in actual fact, what we feel is nothing to do with that. It's purely down to our thinking in the moment. And to give an example of this, if there was a million, if we look at £1 million and 100 people, and half of them had £1 million, some of them would be happy, some of them would be unhappy. And if a half of them didn't have it, again, there'd be some that didn't have it that were happy, and some that didn't have it that'd be unhappy. The happiness is totally not dependent, not related on the £1 million. Or we could say a piece of cake there, or anything. You know, some people with the cake would be happy, some with it would be unhappy. Some people without it would be happy, some people without it would be unhappy. I guess I saw this once. Like I used to carry a lot of quite angry thinking, actually, around. I used to want everything doing a certain way. This sounds like really, really crazy now, but I'd get cross at little things. And one day we were getting ready to go on a walk, and we were going in the car, like, what's that about? I don't know. And this was normal. Matt, my partner, would be sat in the car with girls waiting, impatiently or not. In my head, they were waiting impatiently, and I had to rush back out. And I'd be in the house getting everything else ready. I was getting sun hats, sun cream in case it was too hot, and winter coats, and not winter coats, but warmer things if it was too cold, and food and everything, and trying to get it out. And quite angry that everything had been left to me again, like it always was. I wasn't thinking about all the things Matt had done that morning, like get up and cook breakfast for everybody, and get the girls dressed, and cleaning all the pots away and stuff. I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about everything I'd been left with. And I locked up, sat in the car, and I was like, who wants to go on a flaming walk anyway? And it just hit me. It hit me. That was such a ridiculous thing to think, because I love it. That's what I love doing. And everyone else was happy. It was just me that was in the grump. And it just struck me then, like I could see exactly what I was doing, and I could carry those thoughts around with me and spoil my walk while everyone else enjoyed themselves, or I could just let them go. And when I let them go, I no longer felt angry or frustrated. I'd still do everything. It's nothing to do with that. Yeah, our feelings are only ever telling us about our thinking in the moment. I always think of like people, like I don't say 100 again, but people getting on a flight and like back home, and if it was to be delayed, like every single one would feel something different. You know, one person could think, "Yay, I've no work for another day. Like I don't have to face all those emails." And the person like next to them could think, "Oh my God, I'm going to miss another day off work, and like I've got all these emails." So one could be deliriously happy with, and another one could be like hitting the roof with anger. Someone could be quite stressed because or worried because they've got a taxi to sort and they don't know the time the plane's going, and every single person could feel something different because it's nothing to do with the plane being cancelled. So I just wanted to start there, and if anybody does want to know more about that, then or isn't sure what I'm getting at, then you're more than welcome to just send me a message afterwards, and I can point you in the direction of a whole host of like resources where you can find out more about that. So what I wanted to share tonight on this call is a realization around what's behind cravings, like the trap of cravings. And it always, no matter what you're craving, cigarettes, alcohol, food, it always boils down to the same thing, the same issue, in that the trap's caused by trying to fix a problem with a solution that's just never going to work. And that's the main crux of it. It's like it's like banging your head against a wall because you've got a headache, because you think that banging your head's going to like get rid of it. It's never going to work. Yeah, but you do it over and over and over and over, and you can't get out of it. And I saw this. I've shared this story before in part, so apologies now if you've heard it already, but it was really powerful, impacts me like quite a lot. And our evening routine, not every night, but like a routine that we'd got into that we liked, would be when the children, when the girls are finally all up in bed and we've got all the chores done, we quite, or work, we quite like to sit and watch something and stuff ourselves, basically. Yeah, with drink or food. That was our evening. Way to go. No, but one night we were putting something on. I can't remember if it was a film we downloaded or whether it was some series or something. You know, these long-running series that you hope you try and avoid watching the first ones, because if you do, you're hooked. Yeah, so it might have been one of those, but we were just about to settle down to watch it, and I said, no, before we start, let me get everything ready. And Matt quite likes a break in the film, but I like to have everything so I can just sit and relax and unwind and yeah. So I went and I got everything I thought we needed: wine, cheese and biscuits. I think there might have been some chocolate biscuits as well, a knife and stuff, so that we didn't have to move. And the Sprite, like, I didn't say this, I thought I just like, phew, now I can relax. And it hit me like that, oh my God, I don't need this to relax. Like, that's not how you relax. That's like, I can't relax by having food. And in that instant, I just saw that that's all we ever do. We we're looking for a feeling, um, and and we try and find something that we think is going to give it to us. And I saw it for everything. I saw it like that when I used to smoke, um, I'd smoke to concentrate, or I'd smoke to try and relax, or if I was stressed or anxious about something, I'd smoke to like try and calm myself down. Um, that's what I thought I needed, and I was sat there and I just thought that I that's what I did with my whole life, like um, building a business, or um, working hard at work for like success, and because and more money to earn, because that that's what makes you satisfied, and you want to feel, I want to feel satisfied and happy, and I saw it um like with everything, with like partners, and wanting to be loved, and it, it it just totally hit me that like none of these things is ever going to give us what we want. It doesn't matter how much cake you eat, or wine you drink, or cigarettes you smoke, they're never going to make you happy or relaxed, or or calm, because that's not where our feelings come from. And it might look like they do. So like especially like when I was smoking, I could have a lot of thinking about, oh my God, I can't relax, like if I'd run out of any, like and a similar thing with food as well. If we didn't have any nibbles in, oh my God, how are we going to get through a whole evening, if we haven't got that to eat, and but the chatter goes on and on and on and on and on, and finally when you get when you go out and buy what you what it is you think you can't do without, what it is you think you can't relax without, um then coincidentally that that chatter can stop, and you can find yourself relaxed. But it's got nothing to do, and in fact, like let's just go on to this. It's got nothing to do with like the food or the cigarettes or the alcohol. It's why once you've bought them, you could go all evening and not even eat them or have a cigarette. Yeah, because your thinking's changed, and that is what's calmed you down. But we mistakenly link it to the other things, and then we get in the rut of searching for those, and needing those when we want that feeling again. Yeah. If we go back to the like banging your head against a brick wall, because one time you knocked yourself out and you couldn't feel the pain anymore. So you think that's the way to get rid of your headache? Yeah, it's never going to work. It doesn't work like that. And that's why one drink might not cut it. You can have one biscuit and still not feel relaxed and still feel like you need another and another and another. Once you realise what you think you want can never like give you what you really want, then you're free. You're free to choose whether you have it or not. Yeah, you can take it or leave it. You're free to say no. There's no freedom when you think that you can't relax, that you can't unwind, until you've had whatever it is you think you need. There's no freedom in that. It's fear. Fear that you're going to be agitated until you get it. But the only thing that can give you what you're really after, the feelings that you're searching for, is your thinking in the moment. Now, I have worked with people that don't find that very helpful at all, that think, oh my God, I thought I was just dealing with a habit and now you're telling me I have to change my thinking. How do you do that? I'm not, you don't have to change your thinking. Seeing how it works is enough. And knowing that those feelings that you're searching for, whether you know it or not. And when you understand what's going on, you notice it more and more. I didn't. When I sat there and I realised that, like, it wasn't the actual physical thing that I wanted, I was after a feeling, I didn't automatically change my habits at all. I was just more aware of how I was feeling about them and thinking. So I'd noticed that when when we went out, like, I didn't necessarily want a drink, but I'd feel like I either had to make an excuse, like, oh, I've got to drive, I've got to be up early, or I'd have to have one to, like, fit in and everything. And so sometimes I'd have them, sometimes I wouldn't. But just realising that meant that, because obviously I don't have to have a drink to fit in, made me more able to choose whether I wanted to have it or not. And with food, just noticing that, you know, sometimes a mealtime would come round and I wasn't particularly hungry. I didn't automatically act on that and say, oh no, I'm not eating. But, like, to begin with, I just noticed that I would eat and that I wasn't really hungry. So I didn't really enjoy it as much, and I just became more aware of what was going on, and I could see it more clearly, and there was no effort involved with making those choices. Sometimes I made choices I wanted to, sometimes I didn't. But it's just that awareness of of what's going on, and that you are making a choice. I digressed a bit there. So what I started to say, I think, and I didn't carry on, was that what we're searching for, the feelings that we want, like happiness and peace, like calm and love, they're already there. That's our natural state. Yeah, we just, it's our natural state when our thinking's not in the way, and it's like a natural intelligence behind life. You know, that's in a seed that makes it grow, and even in our bodies, that makes all the reactions. Oh, there are millions of reactions going on in your body all the time, and, like, all the different chemicals that are involved in them, and all the cells being renewed and everything. And we're not doing that. You know, there's just a natural intelligence there making that happen, and it's always there, and it's always working towards, like, health and life, and we don't have to do anything for that. We don't have to get up and say, oh, today I must remember to start my breathing, or like to make sure my heart pumps at this minute, or actually I think I've got too much sugar in my body. I need to remember to get rid of some of that. I need some insulin. We don't have to do any of that. And that goes on behind the scenes, and it's always going on. If you've been pregnant, you might have experienced like cravings, and the rationale behind that is that you are craving things that your body needs. And people that have gone on like detoxes, for example, and changed their diet and things like that, can really get a sense of like that their body's changing, needs them more in tune with what they feel like to eat from day to day. And we all have that. Our tastes change. I know some of them we like. Some of the tastes we train ourselves to like, but we go off and on things. Some days we feel like something, some days we don't. And when you trust in that natural intelligence behind life, when you have trust that it's pointing you towards health, then it doesn't make sense for us to get in the way of that. I have no idea how much iron my body needs every day, and I know it'll vary depending on my circumstances, depending on whether I'm pregnant or exercising or building muscle or fat. So it can change. In my requirements can change. It can change person to person, and I have no idea how much of each nutrient or vitamin I need, but my body does. And there's I read a brilliant book on baby-led weaning, but I've actually heard about this experiment before from somewhere, and I think they let children choose what they wanted to eat for like a week or a month, a fixed period of time anyway, and we have this belief that if we're not trying to control it, if we're not in control, if we're not watching what we do, that we'll just eat, specifically children, if we're not telling them what they should have for each meal, all they'll eat is sweets. But that's not the case at all. Over the period of time, however long it was, I can't remember actually, but they found that the children ate pretty much a balanced diet of what they were supposed to eat. And because our bodies tell us. Our bodies are always telling us. It's where like our intuition comes from, our wisdom, like just the natural intelligence behind life, and it's always there and it's always telling us. And just like we can always experience the feelings that we're searching for, the calm, the love, the peace, the happiness, the only thing that gets in the way of that is our thinking. It's like just if you were listening to something on a particular frequency, a tune that was always there. You could always hear it. Just a particular vibration. And your thoughts are like resistance to it, like static interference. So the more you have of them, the less you can actually hear the tune playing in the background. So we have all those thoughts about, oh my God, I've had such a bad day at work today. I just like, I need a treat tonight. I need to like, I don't know what it is. I need a drink or like, I need, I'm not eating what I planned. I'm going to have a takeaway or and I deserve it, or I've done really well. I'm going out for this, to celebrate. I want to be happy, and it's that chatter of what you need is covering up the fact that you're already calm and happy if it wasn't for the chatter. You know, it also reminds me of like, before they realised the sun, I was going to say, before they realised the Earth moved around the sun and how the solar system worked, it would be quite scary, like at night time when the sun disappeared. There's a lot of superstition and in the pagan religion, like sacrifices to the sun god so it would rise again the day after and everything. Because there was like a lot of chatter about how things worked and what might happen, how people might be punished if they didn't do that. And so not realizing how it worked, if suddenly during the day there was a solar eclipse, that would be really, really scary. There'd be a lot of thinking about that, a lot of trying to change that. But when you trust in that natural intelligence and the perfection of it, and you know everything's going to be all right, you don't have to try at all. There's no, there's none of that scary thinking. You can just sit back and enjoy the miraculous experience of an eclipse, knowing that it's going to be okay. That's what I wanted to share tonight. And I hope, well, more than anything, I hope you got a chance to relax for an hour and soak some of that in. That's my job. I work with people that want to change the diet, and I help them see how it really works, so they can get really clear on what they want, and so it's just simple to get there, so we don't have to struggle. I worked with one guy last year, and we were actually concentrating on just changing like food habits. And on one call, I was like really excited after. I said, "Oh, I've done brilliantly in the last couple of weeks. I've not had anything to drink," and I didn't realise we were even looking at that. I didn't realise it was an issue, and I was like, "All right, well, really, what happened there then?" And it's like, well, it just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to. And I was talking to someone a couple of days ago who said that all of a sudden she knew exactly what she had to do, and she said it wasn't dieting. She didn't need any more diet. All she needed to do was eat sensibly and exercise. Now, if I say that to somebody at the beginning of the conversation, they'll just hit me. We all know what we need to do up here. When I was smoking, I knew that I needed to give up. That like that it wasn't doing anything for me. I knew that up here. But when you're caught in that trap, you don't feel it. And so tonight, I hope you've taken away some of that feeling. And I'd love to hear about it if you have. You can contact me at Victoria Green on Facebook, or the email, which I think you should already have if you signed up to this, but it's vicstar@btinternet.com. You can post if you've got any questions at all about that. What I said I'd do is tell you about my adventure that I'm setting up. It's actually a trek that I'm taking 6 people on in August in Yorkshire, and the whole idea of it is because in our day-to-day lives, we tend to carry around a lot of thinking, and so the whole idea of it is to get out in nature, away from those day-to-day distractions, communication devices, and to get out into nature and just let some of those thoughts drop away. So we're closer to that experience that we're really after, and so we can work out what we really want. And that's 5 days of trekking, so it's about 14 miles a day. It's 4 nights accommodation. It's breakfast, lunch, evening meal. There are people that want to use that as an opportunity to detox and kickstart a change of diet, and that's fine too. But if you are interested in that, I will post the link. I'll send it out to the participants, and I'll post the link under here, so you can go to the event page. There's actually an early. It costs £1,499, but there's an early bird offer till the end of May for 1,100, and anybody that applies tonight and signs up from this call, from this class, there's a further discount, and if you sign up tonight, it's £749, so it's half price for tonight, and it already includes a coaching call, but for anyone that signs up tonight, you get an additional coaching call, and you also will. I'll send you a previous class that I did, which was Change Your Diet for Good, and you can have that as well. So that's great. And if you want to, if you think you want to go into this further, then I do work with one-to-one clients, but we always have an initial session first to work out exactly where they are stuck, what they want help with, and to get for them to get really clear on that, so that we both know whether what I share here is It's what they're looking for. So if you think you would like to do that and you want to know more about that, then you can get in touch with me on Facebook or email me. And yeah, as I say, I will give up to 6 free sessions this evening. So thank you very much for listening, relaxing hopefully, and I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, and find out what was useful, what questions you've got, what you would like to hear more of. That would be brilliant. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully we'll connect soon. Night.